In about 3 weeks, I'm gonna be in California with my wife and some friends for about a week. But while they're enjoying hanging out by the pool, I'm carving out a couple days to do something a little different. I'm heading into Joshua Tree to do a fast packing trip to test out my 2026 Ultralight loadout in real desert conditions. And without consumables, my base weight is coming to 6.8 pounds. I did think about pushing into the super ultralight territory on this trip and going under 5 pounds base weight, but I'm really not there yet. And I'm really not willing to give up good night's sleep just to go crazy ultralight. My air pad alone is 16 ounces, and I'm okay with that because it's super comfortable. And I thought about taking that 1/8 inch foam pad that I have, but as I mentioned, I like my sleep. To me, ultralight, especially when I'm out fast packing, is about intentional gear. The pieces that make moving fast, recovering well, and staying safe actually possible. So in this video, I'm breaking down the exact gear that makes a sub 7 pound fast packing actually realistic without going full minimalist monk mode. All right, so let's dive into the bag. So here is the bag that I'm taking with me. And what I love so much about this is that the gear and being able to go ultralight, and like I said, I'm going out to do a trip with a bunch of friends where we are gonna probably enjoy some pool time and other things like that. And so I can toss this bad boy into my luggage and still have plenty of room for all of my other stuff that I wanna take for the rest of the trip. So that's kind of super cool for everything. So we'll start off with the pack. So here I have the Outdoor Vitals Skyline 30 Fast Pack. So they made, this pack here is made for fast packing. And so you'll see that the straps and everything are a lot differently than you would see for an ultralight standard backpack. So for one, there really are no hip straps, which is fine because, you know, when you're really getting this lightweight, you really don't need a hip belt. Or any padding in your hip belt for that. Really all I'm using this for is to help sturdy the pack to me, because they've also made their straps here, your shoulder straps, to where they will actually, they wear a lot more like a running vest, and so they cinch down a lot more tighter to you so that your gear is not bouncing a lot whenever you're running. So, and it's also, it looks very familiar to a running vest for those of you that are used to it. You've got some water bladders and other things here to be able to have quick access and easy access to nutrition for water and other things too as you're running. So I left those, as you can see here, I've left those in when I weighed out the pack because I count the empty bladders in the empty bottle. I'm also going to carry here a 1 liter extra of smart water bottle that I can be able to take some extra water, because I am going out into the desert, so I'm going to need to make sure that I have at least enough water to get me through to each of the different stations of where water can be got. And so you've got here the 2 flasks. I'll pull one of them out here just so you can see them. These are just simple flask. Each one of them here is around 17 fluid ounces. So you can get between the 2 of them, that'll be an extra liter. So I'll probably be planning on running out with 2 liters of water full at all times, so that I make sure that I've got enough for me as I'm going along. I've also got here, you can see, I always carry my Garmin Mini InReach, just to make sure that I have some kind of communication capabilities, and always, because when I go out by myself, it just gives me that safety to know, and my wife to know, that if anything was to happen, I've always got the ability to hit the button to get somebody to come get me and get me out. All right, so here, so the pack here, I love this layout of this pack. But it's really simple and basic because it's not really that big. One of the things I love on this one, I don't have anything in it right now because I love to put my phone or other things when I'm running. That way I don't have to have them in my pockets. There's this cool pocket right here on the bottom of this pack that goes all the way through. So whether you're, maybe if I was in the mountains running and I wanted to run with trekking poles and I got to a point where I didn't want to carry the trekking poles, I could slide them in here. Or like I said, I like to put my phone in there. It just holds it. It holds tight really well on there, and it's really able to kind of get some extra stuff too in it. But there's not a lot of things here. There's a pocket on this side, pocket on this side. So on the one side, I'm gonna carry the 1 liter of water. On the other side, I'm gonna carry my water filter. For this trip, I'm taking the Cat9 Be Free. This would be another liter of water that if I wanted to fill this up before filtering it, that I could carry. So at any given time, I could carry 3 liters of water with me on the trip, which I think is important when you're out in places where there's not a lot of water. And then I've got this really big pocket here. I love this pocket here because it really helps me get to anything that I want to get to quickly. So the few things I put in here, the first thing you can see, so for this one, because I am attempting to go really ultralight, I do have a little bitty foam pad for sitting. So whereas those of you that have seen my my ultralight bougie summer setup, you know, I typically like to carry a chair a lot of times with me, but for this one I'm not. So this is just going to be something for me to be able to. This is a really cool small pad that'll just keep you from having things sticking you in your butt, or if you want to use it like I like to use it sometimes kneeling down and other things when I'm going through my gear and stuff like that. So super lightweight, doesn't weigh much of anything, but that'll go with me on this trip. I've got my toiletry kit here. So here it's always pretty simple for a toiletry kit. I'm not gonna pull everything out, but basically a deuce spade, or a little small roll of toilet paper, and some hand sanitizer there. I keep all of this really quick and easily accessible to me so that I can do my business. Let's see what else we got in here. We got my first aid kit. For those of you that have seen the video, this is my first aid kit that goes with me everywhere, but it's pretty ultralight. It only weighs like just right around that 3 ounce mark, but it's got just about everything that I could need in a situation for when I'm out. And it's also got some repair kit stuff and other things into if I needed to in it as well. But if you're interested to see what's all in this, go check out that video on the channel. And then also, as you've also probably seen another video if you're familiar with my channel, I carry a buff with me everywhere. I will probably utilize this to wear on my head at night. I like to try to keep my ears a little warm, especially when it gets cool at night and some of those things. But I also, depending on how, if it's dusty or stuff, I can use it to cover my mouth and other things too as well when I'm on it. But this thing can do tons and tons of things. Oh, and it will probably also be a pillowcase for me at the end of the day. As well. But if you want to know all the different things that a buff can do and help you replace so many other gear and how it helps get down to such light weights, go check out that other video too as well. All right, I think that's everything in the pockets. Now let's dig into the bag. All right, so like a lot of your roll top bags that you have in the ultralight world, this thing, even so, I don't have the food in the bag right now, so I had it, you know, it was pretty low down right now on what it was carried, but by the time I add a little bit of food in for a couple days there, it'll bring it up a little bit. But you could pack this thing even more with a little bit more in there. I don't know, I've never really gotten it much more than say 25 pounds in a full loadout, but that was carrying a good bit of food on that. But I don't know how you would go for any of that. But all right, let's dive into the pack. So at the top, I have a fleece. So even though I'm going out to the desert, which I'm hoping for some good weather days out there while we're doing it, and which is why I'm taking this opportunity, because here in Colorado, there's no testing my Fastpack. We're in full-on winter now, and I'm snow camping and doing a whole bunch of other things, as you guys are seeing from the channel right now here in Colorado. But over in California, I figure I could take advantage of the warm weather and I could test out what I want to use for this year's Fastpacking gear. But it's still January there when I'm going to be there, and so there's still temperature drops at night to get down into the high 30s and maybe if I'm lucky to the low 40s or so. So I'm still going to take my ultralight fleece. This is just a Patagonia ultralight fleece that I have. I think this thing only weighs like 10 ounces or so, but this will be a great thing as a warmth level when I get to camp, and just comfort to be able to get out of my running gear at the end of the day. And then here is my air pad. As I mentioned, I thought about not taking this and putting in the 1/8 inch foam roll, which I have. But then I just really got to thinking about it, because I was really having a hard time, because not all of my gear is the lightest thing on the market, right? So There are a lot of options where you can see folks that are really easy for them to get down to that sub 5 pound base weight, but they do things like leave out their first aid kits, or they have like a poncho tent or things like that, which I don't have any of those kind of things yet. And I'm also almost 50 and like to still enjoy myself and don't really want to suffer. And so maybe when I was in my early 20s, could I lay directly on the ground and make it through? And I probably could have at least done it for one night to do it. But the more I got to thinking about it, I was like, you know what? I really don't want to suffer. So I'm taking my air pad. Now, I know there are some lighter air pads out there. Many folks have told me that on a lot of my setups, but I tell you what, this is just one that it's my all-to. This is the All Seasons Tensor. I love this thing. It's got a great R value, and so because it's going to be cooler at night, I wanted to make sure that I had something that's not going to cause me to lose a lot of heat from the ground, and I wanted to be comfortable, and I know this thing is amazingly comfortable. So even though there are some lighter options, and I even have some lighter options that don't have quite the R value and don't have as much of the comfort levels for that, but this is definitely going with me. All right, for one thing that I'm doing for this trip that I haven't done very often is I'm gonna take my Outdoor Research Helium Bivy instead of taking my tent. So in order to attempt to go ultralight, because I am running and I am trying to limit how much gear I am taking and being intentional about what I'm taking, is I really wanted to, so my tent, as you guys know, is sitting at close just under the 2 pound mark that I have for my tent. And if you guys haven't seen that full layout, you can see, and I'll give you a link at the end of the video for my ultralight backpacking layout for when I'm not running and I want to have a little bit more comfort. And in some of those scenarios, I'm taking Moose, my dog, and with me as well. So for this trip though, it's going ultralight, and I've been wanting to get into this thing a little bit more frequently to see how much I actually like it or not. So I'm taking this. This thing weighs under 1 pound. I don't remember the exact weight, but I'll put it on the screen whenever I edit the video. All right, let's see. Now we've got an extra pair of socks. I always carry an extra pair of socks just because you never know. I mean, especially when I'm running. The last thing I want to do is, run through a water puddle or something and end up getting my feet wet and then just being miserable for 2 days. So I always carry at least an extra pair of socks. I normally also carry an extra pair of underwear, but this is a quick trip. I'm only doing an out in the back. So we're not carrying an extra pair this time. We'll see whether or not I regret that later, but I feel like I can go 2 days with the same pair of underwear. So you can leave comments that say gross in the below if you want, but that was just one of my things that I decided the trip wasn't long enough to warrant that. Next thing is a pillow. Right now, the pillow that I've been using is just an Amazon pillow that I get off of Amazon. I've got a couple I'm hoping for. I've got another pillow that I've been looking at and keeping my eyes on that I'm hoping to get for Christmas from the kids. So if I get that for Christmas in time, then it'll get this. You'll find in the video when you actually see me go out and run at Joshua Tree, you'll see me replace this pillow with that pillow. But for now, I've just got an air pillow. I'm going pretty simple. As you guys have probably seen in some of my recent videos, I used to pair up 2 pillows in order to get the good height because I'm a side sleeper. But nowadays, one of the things that I'm doing is I will inflate the pillow up, and then I will use the buff to put over the top of it in order to give a pillowcase. And then once I go to sleep, if I'm not wanting to wear this, or if I want to take off maybe my longer fleece or whatever I might be wearing or running in, I can always stuff that in underneath the pillowcase in order to give me a little bit of comfort on top of this. And I'm really liking that pairing so far for a pillow. So that gives me good comfort, but it also keeps me ultralight. Let's see here before we pull out the quilt. I know I got some things in this. There's a little pocket here on the inside. And then here I've got a little bitty flashlight. So as you guys have seen in a lot of my videos, I don't carry a headlamp much anymore. If I'm going for really long days, or if I'm doing some winter trips where I know I'm going to be stuck in the tent a lot more often and a heavier pack that I'll be carrying out, then maybe I'll carry my headlamps, because I know, especially here in Colorado, you get the longer dark, for shorter days, longer nights. But for this particular trip, I'm just taking this little guy. I also have a light on my Garmin Phoenix, which you guys have heard me talk about a lot. I use this thing all the time. So for me, this is really only meant to be a backup. And that's why I try to go just as lightweight as I can on that. And then my toothbrush and toothpaste. For now, I've just got, this little bitty guy that Garage Grown Gear sent me one time free when one of my orders. And actually, I don't mind it. It's small, super lightweight, but, it works. And so I use that. I haven't broken down yet. I keep saying I'm going to break down and buy the toothpaste pellets so that I can go ultralight with my toothpaste. But guys, this really doesn't weigh that much. It's a little bitty travel one that I have, and as you can see, it's been used quite a few times and doesn't really have that much in it. Once I get it to the point where it's empty, then I can just use my bigger tube and fill it back up, and just use that to be able to go out with me. This time I'm not carrying my ultralight little bitty pocket knife that I normally toss in there to have for safety sakes, because I am flying all of this on the airplane and I just didn't want to deal with the whole knife thing, even though I'm going to check all this. So it shouldn't have been an issue to take a knife, but I just chose not to. And then the last thing here is my quilt. And so this particular trip, I went with my lighter quilt. So this is the REI Magma 30-degree quilt. This one's just a little bit lighter. I didn't think that I really needed the extra warmth of my Outdoor Vitals 15-degree quilt that I have. And so this would save me a little bit of weight in the current environment that I'm going to be in by taking the REI Magma. So this one will be really good for me to have. And as you see, I don't really do a stuff sack. I just kind of stuff it in the pack, and that way I can pack it around different things that I have there for it. But that's it, guys. That's everything for this year's 2026 Fastpacking loadout. Tell me what you think. Let me know in the comments, what do you have in your Fastpacking kit? If you actually go out running, or if you're just going ultralight, what would you do different? What would you have differently than I have here? Like I said, I know when, like one of these days, maybe I'll get one of those ultralight tents. I just can't seem to bring myself yet to spend $800 for a tent that weighs less than a pound. But who knows? I am looking to see. Right now I'm very happy with my Big Agnes Tiger Wall Ultralight 2-person tent. Like I said, it comes in at right under 2 pounds. But it's a really good tent, and I need to have a little bit of extra space because I take Moose with me a lot of times, and so I always like a 2-person tent versus a 1-person tent. We'll see how I'm gonna like being in a bivy. This thing, like I said, I want to say it was 12 ounces or maybe even a full 16 ounces on its weight, but it's going to be a lot more, small in nature. But this gets me, to as ultralight as I can when I'm going out. But, should be a fun trip. I am looking forward to it. One of the things you'll probably notice here that I didn't take out, which really, when you really think about it, it doesn't add a whole lot of weight. But I just decided that I was trying to go super ultralight for this particular trip. And so I chose not to bring a stove system. Which is not something that I normally do. It's, if you've looked into my 2026 backpacking system, you've seen that that's one of the comfort items I like, is I do like a warm meal at the end of the day. So typically when I'm going out into the mountains and stuff, I do take one with me. And to be honest, it really doesn't add a lot to your base weight. So I probably could have added my little bitty, canister stove and a pot and a little, fork or something, my titanium spoon, and it wouldn't have added too much more, which would have maybe put me into the 7-pound portion of things, because you don't really count in your base weight, you don't count the fuel because that's a consumable. But I just chose on this one that, you know, it's just a 2-day trip. I'm just gonna take cold food, and I'm just gonna have things that I can eat that way. And so I chose not to take a cook system for this particular trip. But I think for the most part, I didn't really leave out a whole lot of other things. Like I said, there are some other creature comforts. If you are interested to see what my full loadout is for my 2026 Ultralight Bougie, is what I'm calling it out to be, because it is a little over 10 pounds. It's I think I was at just under 12 pounds total for my base weight for my summer backpacking gear list. And maybe here at some point we'll do a comparison where you can see my backpacking gear compared to my Fastpacking gear. Because when I go out and I want to run on the trail, I really do want to get as lightweight as I can. So that, you know, some of the times, you know, some of those comfort items that I normally like to carry when I'm going out backpacking, especially if I'm going out with friends or other things, I may not carry, and I may be willing to, you know, for example, sit on the ground or lean against a tree or a rock as I'm going through for this particular trip, because the lighter that I can get, the easier it'll make the run for this trip. And so I'm really looking forward to this trip, and hopefully it turns out to be really well. But look forward to seeing that trip too. I'll probably have it posted out on the channel sometime in February. Like I said, I'm going in January to go do on it. So by the time we get back and I get it edited for you guys, I'll try to get it up on the channel, and so you guys can go check it out. But in the meantime, like I said, you've heard me talk a lot about my other video that I posted not too long ago about my 2026 Ultralight Bougie setup. So if you want to check that one out, that video will be right here. But outside of that, guys, I hope this was beneficial for you guys. I've been promising that I was going to give you guys my Ultralight loadout. As you've heard me say many times, you know, Ultralight's not about suffering. You can do some of this and still be comfortable and get out for it. And, you know, we all have different loadouts and we have different packs for the different trips. It doesn't always have to be this setup for every single trip that I go on, which is why you see all the different setups that I have for all my different types of trips. But overall, I hope this was helpful. And as always, guys, I hope to see you on the trail.